Hello, and welcome to Under 1000. My name's Thomas Flower, and each episode I'll read you a new piece of flash fiction. All of the stories are 1000 words or less. Today, I'll be reading Manifesto Invitation. Please be aware that this episode contains strong language, so if that's likely to upset you, or anyone that you're listening with, then you might want to skip this one. Just a quick note before we begin today's episode. I wrote this story in the early days of Under 1000, when I was just beginning the show, but I shelved it at the time, and never used it. At the time, it felt a bit strange to read a story like this, when I was only just beginning my own work. But now that we've reached the 100th episode, I wanted to bring it back as a celebration and a piece of encouragement for anyone out there that's in the same position I was a year ago. I hope that it acts as a kind of cap of 100 episodes and what's happened within a year of the show, and that you enjoy this and maybe think about creating something of your own. Why do we do it? Why do we keep trying? In a world of such infinite creation and consumption, it seems unlikely that we would stumble across an idea that hasn't been done better by someone else already. What combination of words or colours or images or sounds could we find that could possibly convey something new to anyone? And yet, here we are, still slogging away, still making day after day. Because what else could we do? Everything's already been said, but we're determined to keep talking. There's nothing original to say, but we speak anyway. We speak through every tiny piece we make, and we are heard every time we touch someone in any way. Fact is, for all the museums and libraries and galleries and digital archives that there are, every generation needs a new voice to represent them. The new voice might sound awfully similar to the old voice to some people, but for other folks, it means so much, and that's all that matters. Who cares about the cluttered cultural wasteland that is history, when you've found something that's finally talking to you, right here, in this moment together? Of course, these days we're all talking. It's not an exclusive dinner party anymore, no matter how much some might still want it to be. The doors have been flung open, and we've all been invited inside to chat away to our heart's content. The VIP area is still presided over by the rich and the snobby, but who really wants in there these days anyway? But with so many people, talking, shouting, screaming all at once, it feels overwhelming to raise your tiny voice and join in. It's easier to listen. After all, you'd only be repeating what everyone's already heard already, wouldn't you? But then, one day, while you're perusing the nibbles, you're struck with a thought. It might not be a completely new thought, but it's one which touches you, feels interesting and important. You raise your voice a little to a whisper to share with those nearby. And so you're off, gabbing away along with the rest of us, creating and making and putting it out there for everyone to see. Maybe someone will pay to hear you. Maybe not. Either way, you can't help but notice it feels good to get your thoughts out there after all this time. And so the party carries on, one more guest involved in the action, and we all keep going, making, trying, doing. We store it up, create what we can, sling it out into the void and hope someone else will notice and enjoy it. Of course, sometimes other people don't enjoy it. Now, here's the question. Is it better to be lost in a sea of competing voices, or plucked out and held up for shame, disapproval and ridicule. One makes you feel like starting is pointless, but the other makes you scared to make a move at all. Even when you've squirreled away something that you've worked on for months or years, you'll feel too nervous that it could all go wrong. What if they hate it? And what if they're right to? Maybe you were wrong, and you created shit and call it art. Anyone who says don't listen to your critics is an idiot. How else could you learn and change and grow? How else could you acknowledge when you've made a truly hurtful decision? But anyone who listens only to their critics is an idiot too. If all you ever do is change everything about yourself to fit what someone else wants, then you'll only ever be someone else's image of perfection. But you have an image of what you'd like to see in the world, even if it's buried under layers and layers of doubt. Put it out there. Don't be shy. Maybe it'll need a polish or two, but it's better than not making what you want. Of course, the critic you'll have to ignore the most is the one who sits and holds court within your own head. That bastard is fierce and talented too, because they know just what to say to make you doubt yourself. They'll take every flaw and magnify it 1,000 times until all you have is flaws. You'll be so convinced that what you've made is worthless because it isn't shining, spotless perfection, and you could never release something so flawed. Somebody needs to tell you that everything has flaws, and it always will. And unfortunately, that somebody is going to have to be yourself. They always tell you not to let great be the enemy of good, but some cliches really should be listened to. Don't pull down what you have because it doesn't live up to what it could be. What it could be is probably an imaginary dream anyway, and if not, it's somewhere you can reach in time and with practice. Let it be for now, and let it be seen. And finally, of course, don't compare. Well, at least not too much. Some people have been doing this longer than you, and some have not. Sometimes, the people who have been doing this for no time at all make something stunning and amazing, and everyone's got to hear what they have to say. Don't let it boil your piss. Steal the good ideas which work for you, and chuck out the rest. Give it a twist, a spin, a fresh perspective, and soon you'll have made something great of your own. Just keep your fingers crossed that the crowd rushes over when you do. Remember, it's all luck and timing anyway. So, welcome to the party. Now you're partying with us. Enjoy, have fun, make something true and beautiful and amazing. Make something full of lies, terror, and stupid joy. Just go, for fuck's sake, and make something. You'll be glad you did. Thank you for listening to this special episode of Under 1000. I have been, for the last 100 episodes, your host, Thomas Flower. To follow the show online, look for Under 1000 Pod on Twitter or Facebook, or check out the website at under1000pod.com. If you'd like to support the show on Patreon, go to patreon.com/under1000pod, where you can sign up to read each month's stories in advance, as well as to have a thank you be read during these credits. The theme music is an instrumental version of In Between Days by Nick Tate and the Sharks. To hear the full song and more from the same EP, go to nicktate, andthesharks.bandcamp.com, or search for them on your favourite streaming platform. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and that you'll join me again next time for the next 100 episodes of super short fiction.